is it. This is fun, huh? This is, yeah. I mean, let me tell you, 2020 has been my favorite year. Out of all the years, this has been the best one. I mean, there's aliens. They said there's UFOs. And no one cares. What kind of year could you have that you could sneak in? Hey, everybody, on the news. At the end of the news, they go, there's UFOs. And you're like, oh, do they have COVID? And you're like, no. Like, I don't know. They won't get tested. But it was funny. I told my wife that. I said, they said there's UFOs. And she just went about her day. I mean, you might even watch this and be like, oh, I didn't even hear that. And that's the point. That's how amazing 2020 has been. I also feel this is a good year to see where your friends are at. You know, like you want to be in the middle, I think. And I got friends that they take a shower with their mask on. And they sleep with the mask on because they have a hamster, and the hamster probably has it. And they live alone. It's just them and the hamster. And I also have friends that I don't think have even heard about COVID. It looks like someone told them to try to go get it. That's how they're living. I have a lot of friends, too, they tell me they already had it. They're like, I had it. I had a fever. February, had a fever for a couple hours, so probably had it. I had one friend, he told me he had it in 2015. Convinced. He goes, I had it in 2015. I was the first, and it just didn't catch on like it has now. But I can tell you one thing that's gone forever is coughing in public. That's a wrap. I mean, you drink water wrong at a restaurant, just go walk in traffic. The whole restaurant just stops. Your table would be like, get out of here. Get out of here. And you know who that's going to hurt the most to cough in public? My parents. That's what I feel, because that's one of their favorite things to do, is cough in public. They love it. That's all they do. They cough everywhere. My dad's choking constantly. Just always, if he's not choking, that's when we get worried. That's how much choking he's doing. We go to a restaurant, and they're like, is your dad okay? I'm like, oh, yeah, that's just what he does, you know? I've been traveling all over the country during this COVID, and what I've seen is, look, in the middle of the country, they're doing good. I went to a NASCAR race. They all had their mask on. They're doing what they're supposed to do. A lot of people are doing it. We're trying, you know? A lot of stuff, we take our temperature. I went to Buffalo Wild Wings. They took my temperature. You gonna tell me that teenager doesn't know what he's doing? Is that what you're trying to... You don't think he's going to doctor school? That's how he gets started, is he takes temperatures, and he's like, all right, 45 degrees, you're good. Yeah, you're like 60 degrees from a problem. So, I don't, and they're not even worried about it. They just don't, 57 degrees. You're like, yeah, I'm dead, dude. That's not good. I asked one guy, I was like, does that even work? He goes, I don't know. When it beeps, I just tell him to go ahead. I swear one kid said beep. I don't think his beep worked, and he goes beep, and I was like, was that? And he goes, you're fine. I've done pretty good during COVID. Because I feel like you could I lost some weight during COVID. You could go two ways. If you wanted to gain weight, this is your time. I mean, everybody's fine with it. You can just do it. But I've been doing all that up until COVID. I've always lived by that rule. So during COVID, I was like, I need to stop. And my neighbor started working out in his driveway. And so he's like, let's work out in my driveway. And, it's hard to make a lot of excuses during COVID. You're like, I'm just so busy. I can't. I got a lot of stuff to do today. And he's just out there. So I started doing it with him, and he had a trainer. And I'm not a big fan of working out. Never done it. And I told him, I was like, I just want to do upper body stuff. And they go, all right, well, how about we just do legs every day? That's all it is legs. I think it's a huge conspiracy with trainers that you never actually do your upper body. And when you are doing it, I asked him, I go, is this upper body? He goes, yeah. I go, yeah, because I'm bending down quite a bit. What I eat that's the main problem. I eat like a child. It's not good. He goes, let's go through like what you had for breakfast, or your whole day of eating. He goes, let's go through yesterday. And in my head, I'm like, well, yesterday's not a good day, Let's pick another day. He goes, go through yesterday. I go, all right, I had donuts in the morning. And he goes, all right, was it like they were just out or something? I go, no, I drove to it. I drove to it, and he's like, is it on your way? I go, nope, I was late to where I was going because of it. He goes, what about late night snacking? And I was like, well, I had Sour Patch Kids last night. He goes, did you watch a movie? I go, no, just regular TV. And he told me, he's like, the little kid bag? I go, no, it was a bag. It was a bag of them. If you saw it without a label and someone said, hand me that bag, they wouldn't be confused on what you were asking. I always have trouble going to sleep, and I swear every doctor, it's like I eat Sour Patch Kids and have soda, and I'm like, what's going on, man? I can't. Dude, at night, my brain just doesn't stop. And you're like, yeah, dude, you can't eat Sour Patch Kids in bed. Maybe that's a problem. We've been traveling around like crazy, doing all these driving dates that have been super fun. I like traveling. I love being on the road. I remember one time I was in Los Angeles, and I was going to South by Southwest in Austin, Texas the next day, and I had a really early flight. So I remember like the night before, I was like, just be normal and, have a normal night. And ended up hanging out, become a bit of a problem. And I wake up the next day, and my flight is gone. I mean, I've missed it. And it's not like it's at the gate. It is in Austin, Texas. They are checking into their hotel. So I go to get my phone to get another flight, and I've lost my phone. The night before, I lost it. So now I don't have my phone. So I have to go buy a ticket over the counter like it's the 50s. And when you walk up to a counter, they don't expect you to be buying a ticket like that. I got up there, and they were like, all right. And I was like, I would like one ticket to Austin, Texas, please. And they said, all right, go buy it, and don't be weird about it. I go, nope, I'd like to write a check to you for one ticket to Austin, Texas. And they didn't have a flight, so I have to do that at every terminal. I just have to keep going. One ticket to Austin, Texas, please. I finally found a flight, but the girl behind the counter, she's never sold a ticket like that. She's like, I've worked here for 10 years, and no one's ever done this. And she goes, I don't know how to do it. And she went back and got, probably the oldest lady I've ever seen. I think she's there for just this reason. And she came out, she had like that old credit card machine that you run, and she's like, I got it. This is super fun for me. It was weird to not have my phone. Everybody has their phone. I was going through the airport, and you just don't have it, and you just stare. We were waiting in line, and you're just like looking ahead, and people are just like, all right, dude, what is wrong with you? Just regular people, like, where's your phone? I'm like, I don't have it. I would like to talk to you, though, if you would talk to me. I'd love to chat for a little bit. I thought I was going to breeze through security, but I got held up just because the guy in front of me, and he goes through the metal detector, and it goes off. And so they asked him, they're like, years afterwards, they're like, I want to dedicate this championship to everybody that doubted me my whole life. Everybody that said I would never make it, Then the guy stands up, he's like 7'2", 340. You want to be like, one more question. No one in your life went on a limb and said, I bet you can go far? Nobody? No one thought you were a tree the first 5 years of your life? I thought your parents were your children. That's how big you are. A lot of times when athletes retire, they can do motivational speaking too. So one type of athlete that you can hire is guys that have climbed Mount Everest. And they go and talk to businesses to motivate them because it's relatable. It's not relatable at all. This guy climbed Mount Everest, and he's going to try to talk to people that are trying to park as close as they can to the building. And it's like, this is the guy. This guy's going to really get us moving. What he does is he asks everybody, he wants to know, he's like, what's your Mount Everest? What's your toughest thing in life? And before you answer, just remember, his is Mount Everest. So it better be pretty good, Mine's I have trouble not stopping at McDonald's late at night. That's how embarrassing. I would be like, they're open, I don't know how long you're on the mountain, but now they're open 24 hours. I drink too, which doesn't that doesn't help me and that guy drink. We have pretty big problems, and it's just us two. It's, I don't know. I've had signs that I should quit drinking. One was, I did a show, it was 3 hours outside of Phoenix, Arizona. It was at an Indian casino, which I don't know if you're supposed to say. I don't know. It's not, I don't know. It was I don't know what you're supposed to say. It was a casino. There was crazy amount of Indians there. And So I go, I drive, it's this 3-hour drive to the middle of nowhere. I get there, I do the show, then I was like, I'm gonna go to bed. You know, I had to get up at 7 a.m., just be a normal person. Then I meet this cool Indian dude, and we drink till 5 a.m. So then I have to get up, I sleep 2 hours, get up, I'm walking outside with my roller back. It's like 190 degrees. I'm just questioning everything I've ever done in my life. I'm like, what are you doing, dude? And I look up, and there's a wolf. A real wolf. Just in front of my car, just staring at me. Like, and I'm just looking at this wolf. I'm like, why is this wolf? And I'm like looking around because I'm expecting like some guy to be like, sorry, my wolf got loose. And but there's no guy. It's just me and this wolf. And he's just staring at me. And I don't know how to make a wolf leave. You know, you're like, get out of here, wolf. Like, I don't know what you're like. So I'm just staring, and I'm like looking at him. He's like looking right at me. I said, why is he not leaving? Then I just was like, wait, is that Indian dude I was drinking with last night? Is he a wolf? It wasn't him. The wolf left. The wolf did wander off, and then I got in my car, and I was driving back. And this happened. This doesn't seem real because it's back to back. But I'm driving, and then I get stopped because a helicopter lands in the middle of the road. There's no one around but me and then this helicopter. And it picks up a guy and then flies off. Like, I should have videoed it because it's the craziest thing I've ever seen. But I'm like hungover, so I'm acting like it happens every day. Like, I'm honking at the helicopter like, all right, out of all days, you couldn't have hovered a second and let me get under? The other one I had was I got real drunk and then locked myself out of my hotel room completely naked. Yeah, I've done that in my 2-year-old daughter's lifetime. So if she hears this and she's like, oh, was that college? It's like, no, that's when you were the most dependent on me. Here's what, look, I don't know. That was why I was sleeping naked. You just sleep naked when you're drunk. I don't do it normal. I think it's gross. But that day I was like, we should try that. Let's see what that's about. And then I remember, I was like, I gotta put the do not disturb sign on. So I walk and I open the door. Do not disturb sign, you can crack the door and it would fit outside. But acting like I was like moving a couch outside. And I was like opening it with my body. And then I step outside and I heard the door shut, which was the most sobering noise I've ever heard in my entire life. I was like, this is not good at all, you know? Like, you're way too far. I'm holding this do not disturb sign, which is pointless. It's like I just walked out to be like a real do not disturb sign just for the hallway. I was like, don't come down here. We're not ready. So I'm standing there and I'm like, all right, what are you gonna do, you know? So I look and there's a window. I was like, I could jump out of that. That's easier than having to explain this to my wife. And then I look to the left and there's a cleaning lady and she's just staring at me. And the reason she's there is because it's 11 a.m. That's how far in the day it is. And I'm just like looking at it, and look, and I don't have a body that, like, when she sees it, I'm like, you're welcome, you know? It's like, I'm sorry, look, I don't know. So I looked at her, and she knew what I needed, you know? Like, we didn't really talk. Like, I just kind of looked at her like, you know, this happens to the best of us, right? And she looked at me like, it does not happen. She just let me back in my room. When I told my comic buddies, they tried to make me feel better. They're like, I wouldn't even worry about it. I bet she sees stuff like that all the time. And I was like, I bet I'm in her top 3. She might walk in on people naked, but no one ever charges